1239. That's Cincinnati, Southwest Florida, and beyond. And we are having a great Friday. It's Friday. We have the lovely Shannon Livingston. Shannon, are you still here? I'm keeping it a little bit loud. For some reason, it doesn't come across, but is that too loud for you?
No,
Shannon. Look at Shannon.
I can take it.
Yeah.
I can take it if you can't.
Yeah, look at Shannon. Got the cup out.
I do.
We are selling those for $99 a piece. They're stadium plastic cups if you're interested in one.
Plus $12.99 shipping and handling.
And there's more.
I'm gonna get some bubble wrap with that. That's a fun afternoon.
Oh God, I don't know. I guess my audio. So we are having a fun time today. Today is Friday, so thanks for everybody joining. Please comment a shit pile in here, okay? We've got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. It's Friday, right? It's Friday.
And you're on coffee. You are all hyped up on caffeine.
I'm totally on coffee.
Yeah.
I just started drinking coffee like on a regular basis. I mean, I've always drank it a little bit, but I really like it.
Like all day, or are you just doing it in the morning?
I had one cup. I just drank one not long ago.
Yeah, no, I can tell. It's not a bad thing.
And I got a little rest too.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's
rare
it's good for you.
Yeah.
Usually you're very busy.
I say a lot of rest. I was in bed like by 11 last night, so that's good.
And
what time do you go to sleep, Shannon?
What time do I go to sleep?
Yeah.
Like 8:30.
You got to be, no way. You're lying. 8:30 at night?
Yes.
You actually go lay down in bed at 8:30?
Yeah, but I get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Well, I was up this morning early at 4.
If I sleep in until 6, and then I feel like half my day is over.
Yeah. I had a bunch of real estate business. I know you got some stuff going. You had the home warranties.
Mm-hmm.
We got to throw that in there.
Out here pushing these home warranties.
Keep you paid. And believe it or not, there's some people that are listing houses and things are going good.
It is getting back into a market where people are willing to talk to me about home warranties and not just hang up on me.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
No, that's good. And so that the home warranty business, and we are doing some listings. I noticed, just to give everybody, the viewers, a little look at perspective of what's going on. The inventory was very low. Last year at this time was probably, or 6 months ago at this time was probably about 1,000 homes on the MLS. Right now, I think we're up to like 2,100 homes. And, people are kind of a little bit in a holding pattern, but interest rates are kind of have like bounced around 5.5 right now. So jump on it.
Still good.
Yeah, still. I mean,
it's not 3s.
It's not 3s. It's not 2.5s. It's not 1.9. But it's. I remember running to the bank when it was at 5, and they're like, "You better come down here and lock in today." So I ran to the bank and we locked in at 5. So it's still there, and we still live in beautiful Florida. So people want to be here.
You have to pay to live in paradise.
Yeah, it's expensive to live in paradise. It's not free. Yeah, it's not free.
Ask my kid. I make him pay rent.
Yeah, I know. So a little bit of what's going on. Did everybody see R. Kelly? The R. Kelly, he got, 30 years, I believe?
He got 30 years.
30 years. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, it was pretty amazing. I can't believe that guy.
Well, it just went on for years and years and years. So they did a whole documentary about surviving R. Kelly, about these young girls that he would get into like this kind of sex slave position where he would take them in and make them poop in a bucket in the room, and then he would like make them eat the poop and smear it on their face and take video of it so that they were humiliated and blackmailed and just broken down psychologically. And so it wasn't just that he liked to have sex with younger girls and girls that were not of legal age to consent. It was that he really liked to torture girls. So I don't know what his mother or aunt or whatever did to him to make him that way.
Something screwed him up.
Yeah, but he really wants to hurt women.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Younger girls. Yeah. Shannon, this is R. Kelly. Will you please come to my house and hang out with me? Please. He had a whole team of people that covered for him. That's the problem. Shannon, please come to my... Yeah, they did.
That is big. That's the truth, right? So nobody would ever...
Not just the record company, not just the people that worked for him, but everybody covered for him.
Yeah, and the people now are like, it was stupid because they're out, or some of them are in jail, right? But they're like, oh yeah, no, they covered from him, all bases for him. crazy.
Well, he married that 15-year-old girl years ago, and
Yeah.
that was like not a problem.
Aaliyah, I
Yeah.
believe, yeah. Did he marry her?
Yes, he married her because it was going to come out that she was pregnant and she was underage, and so
Oh shit!
I think they forged her parents' name or they did something, but he married her to save his hide then, and then just continued.
I don't know if that makes it right though. If you marry it, does it square it away? Maybe when she was 16 or something.
I
Or
mean,
I
she
don't
was
know.
15, and for some reason that was done for, at least in his mind, for legal protection.
Yeah, and there's so Netflix. I like the, and not just Netflix. You got Hulu in it. So I'm watching that Stay Sweet, Bittersweet, whatever it is from the Jeffrey.
The LDS church.
Yeah, LDS church. Yeah.
Yeah, but the polygamist from the LDS church.
Yes. Crazy stuff too. That was nuts.
Yeah, but they're born
what
into it.
What the hell's wrong with these
it's
people?
A cult, and they're born into it, and so they really feel like they are doing the right thing, serving him, and they all thought he was the prophet.
Yeah, and they had that conversation. Like, I didn't dare say anything because of the prophet. I'm like, when do you snap out of it? I guess it's hard to when you've grown up and you know nothing else, and all your family members are telling you all that. And,
well, it's not just that you don't know anything else; it's that they will, you're going to be done with your family. You're never going to talk to them again. They're going to excommunicate you
unless they're living there. And then he kicked out a lot of the men in the thing.
He got rid of them once they were about 12, 13 years old, and they started to become a threat.
Yeah.
So then it was just the women, and they didn't really, they didn't know any better, and if they did, then they were shunned. And so, just like in regular society with everything, people cover each other's secrets because that's how we function.
Yeah. And another thing they did is, which was kind of fascinating, is if anybody had any intelligence and they kind of were starting to figure it out.
If they asked questions.
Yes.
I would have been gone.
You've been fucking gone like when you were like
First
4.
day, they would have been like, yeah, she's a problem.
Why are you here and why are you touching me inappropriately? This is
I was
unacceptable.
taught to ask questions.
Yes. Well, that's good because
and it has served
but
me
you would have
well.
been gone. They would kick you out 4 years old, been down the street.
Yeah, I would have been safe.
Yeah.
How horrible for me to be thrown out of the cult on the first day.
Yeah, the first day. You wouldn't be able to be in it. Why are we doing this? Why are we drinking this Kool-Aid? Could you ask me? Could you tell me why are we drinking this Kool-Aid?
Well, and a lot of them are just forced at the end.
Yeah,
the ones that didn't drink it.
And like you said though, but another strange thing was, and you said, well, they were family but sometimes the family was there, and the only time they ever talked to other males, like this one girl said, she broke down on to and from, going from one place to the other. She broke down, and this guy from the outside helped her change her tire. And she's like, oh my God, this is like a guy that is real. It's not my brother, uncle, cousins, the prophet.
Right.
That I fell in love with him. So they never got exposure to the outside. They just sheltered them or basically prevented them from getting out.
Well, and not just that, it was very punitive. And so, if you as a man didn't listen to him, then your wife and your children could be reassigned to someone else.
Yeah.
So that's pretty harsh. And you just fell in line and continued to do what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just obviously.
I think we're going to see more cults. We saw a lot of cults in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more now after COVID and people really repositioning their lives and reprioritizing. And I think people are leaving organized religion, but they still need something. And so they're going to find some bad things out there, unfortunately, waiting for them.
Do you feel that people are maybe reaching for something, like you said, and that maybe they don't have a job and somebody offers them shelter, right? So what is it? Food, shelter, security.
But even above that, it's, we know that the common thread in all cults is belonging. It's feeling like somebody cares about you and you're good enough. And so if your family told you were a loser your whole life, a cult is going to tell you things that you've always wanted to hear. So that is the first thing that they tap into with these people. And then, the food and shelter and all of that, it's not so much an enticement, but once you're in that system, that's what you have. And you may not have an education or a trade or anything else. And the property belongs to the church. And so then it very much becomes part of the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, and I think right now people are going through some tough times, right? So anything that they can cling on to in some cases, they're gonna
That's human
jump on it.
nature.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
We're meant to connect to each other and find meaning in things and find purpose. And so if people are out there and they don't feel like they have a purpose and a group gives it to them, then yeah, they're going to get sucked into that cult.
Well, I've heard of this one called, it's the chipmunk cult. And I promise I won't play
You got to
it.
stay away from that board.
Yeah, I like the chipmunk cult.
Let's see if we can do the chipmunk cult. And I probably shouldn't be doing this, but are you a member of the chipmunk cult?
I would be the high priestess.
You'd be the high princess?
I'm sorry, I guess I love playing with those buttons.
That's fine. It's
You're like,
funny
look-
every time.
You're like looking at me like, what the hell? Oh, right. But
It's funny every time.
every time. So no, it's good.
But really,
Need to stay
don't
away
you
from
think
board.
we're going to see some more cults? People are dropping out of organized religion, and yet they still have these needs that need
Yeah.
to be met.
Yeah.
So
Well,
stay out of cults, everyone.
And then looking at it from the outside in, you're like, how the hell can people get sucked into this? Like, you really think that it's okay to, like, have 14 wives and 23
Now,
brothers and sisters?
I'm not so
and-
against the polygamy part. I gotta say, I would incorporate that in my life in certain
would?
ways if I
You
could.
would?
Yeah, I
Would
would.
you want to be like the third wife?
I wouldn't have a problem. I don't know about the wife thing, but I wouldn't have a problem, with multiple women and one man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't want to have like.
I mean, it's responsibility for the man. It's not a fantasy for me. It's like, help me out.
I wouldn't want to have 10.
Maybe
frickin'
one cooks
women.
better than I do, and maybe one can help run errands, and
I
they
just-
can
I just-
all,
I-
take care
yeah,
of
I
his
just don't-
bullshit ego.
Yeah, I just don't think I could.
Doesn't
deal
all
with
get dropped on me.
that. Yeah, I'd be like, when I go to bed at night, I just want to deal with, one person that's good. I'm happy.
But you have a schedule. It's not like you have all three of them in the California King.
Well,
And
yeah.
that one guy had like 20 something wives, and they would just line up to kiss his
Yeah,
old
kiss-
ass
good
goodnight.
night.
They're like, could be your last night.
Good
You're
night.
really old.
Good night. I'm like, Jesus, you got to be freaking kidding me. It's ridiculous. Crazy.
Well,
It's crazy.
they could all be in heaven together now. Maybe we're wrong.
Yeah, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're the
Maybe
ones.
we're not doing
Yeah,
it right.
I don't know.
Go out and get
I-
yourself a
it's-
couple
it's
more
just-
wives, or you're not going to make it.
When I think about it, I get tired. I really do. I get tired.
But that's the thing about religion, and that's why I don't ask people about their thoughts on religion, because once you really start to get into the details of it, it all sounds ridiculous, but that's how people were raised. If you described any religion to somebody that had never heard of it before, it would sound ridiculous.
No, I get it.
But it has meaning to people, and as long as that's helping them to live and have morals and get along with other people, then whatever.
No, and I agree. And I think we've had this discussion a bunch of times, right?
Mhm.
As long as they're not pushing stuff on me and I'm not pushing stuff on
But that's
them.
what religions do.
Well, I
They do try to push their
but
thoughts on everyone else.
That's the nature of it, right?
Yeah,
They want everybody.
that's
to
where the
join.
problems, come
Yeah.
in. Like you can love Jesus or Allah or whatever you want to do on your own.
Yeah, and what I do have a problem with, and I know it takes money to run a church and things like that, but there's actually like pastors that make a freaking nice living, and they basically it's recruiting people to the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to one in North Naples one time, and I just was invited, so I was like, yeah, I'm going. I looked up on stage, and this beautiful woman with this pastor, and she's got a rock on, and they're singing like unbelievable songs. They're unbelievable. They're together. It's like watching Joel Osteen and his wife,
And
right?
Victoria,
And Victoria,
I like them.
yeah,
I
perfect.
don't send them money though.
No, I don't send him money. And then I listen to Joel, once in a while, I'll listen to one of his sermons or whatever. But people are just, and then they're collecting, and they actually came from Minnesota. How neat they came to Naples, Florida, right? Because there's money down here,
Right.
and they were able to get they were trying to recruit another church to come to their church.
Well,
So
that doesn't
that's-
seem right. You just
No,
get up on stage and ask people, be
Yeah.
like, "This church sucks, and there's a much better one
Yeah,
down the
we're
road."
starting this new church. Why don't you come check this out?
That's poor form.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't do that.
It's like recruiting. So I guess, in the real estate industry, we always try to get people to come, but I like to be around people that I enjoy. It's not really so much like the money, like we
Mhm.
hang out because we have fun, and our oppositeness, I think, works out pretty good because
You're not using me for my money.
yeah, you're totally like on a different spectrum than I am.
I don't think so. I think we have the same priorities.
Yeah,
We
but
just have different experiences.
I guess that's a better way to put it. But I say spectrum. Is that bad?
I'm probably on the spectrum. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with that
Well,
either.
I know I
Label
probably am.
away.
I know I probably am. So I just want to just enjoy life and have fun. But so Collier County's got some really neat people, and I happen to know a couple of these deputies. Natalie Ashby and Scott Pepin just got an award.
Oh, there we go. There's the picture.
Natalie and Scott. Those guys are awesome. And we don't do this enough. We need to let everybody know that the Collier County Sheriff's Office, these folks, 3 deputies from the Sheriff's Office, and we're missing one here, but Scott and I know Natalie very well. They were able to save a guy that was fell over on his electric bicycle having a heart attack.
Yeah, the way that I understood it was they were just out like on patrol doing their thing, and they saw this man had fallen down and his bike was on top of him. And when they went over to him, he was not breathing. So I don't know why no one else stopped, but thank goodness that the sheriff's office was paying attention and stopped and helped and saved this man's life.
Yeah. And that we do, believe it or not, we get a lot of life-saving awards from the sheriff's office and from our EMS folks. They're second to none. And then our fire folks as well. And then you got citizens all over the county that people say that save lives as well with AEDs, and we have them throughout the county. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. We got a great system.
I would like to take a CPR class and actually get my committee to do it too, but it costs a lot of money to get somebody to come out and teach you how to life save.
Yeah, and we have one that's kind of like not a card giving one that
right. I don't need them certified.
Real good friend of mine, Billy Shigota, does it, and it's through Nabor. We've been trying to get with him, so we'll probably try to get that going again.
Good, because we did have an incident at one of our events recently where somebody had choked on some food, and somebody else thankfully knew the Heimlich maneuver and was able to jump right in there. But then I thought, we should all know that, and so I'm glad to know that Nabor's on it. Yeah,
well, and we've been trying to get, but like you said, it's not easy to get somebody to take the time out to come and do that. But the reality is, most of the people that offer these services, they're trying to do the right thing too. So
well, and it changes. So the last time I gave CPR, the mouth to mouth was still an option, or it was still recommended. That's not recommended
now. It's
anymore.
Compressions.
Yeah,
keep that.
Wish I would have known that. I wish I would have known that before.
But but if you do a breath, it's not going to kill them. It's just the compressions are. That's what
matters.
Yeah, they wanted that blood circulation. They said if you just keep pushing on that chest and rotate through and all that stuff, it's good.
Well, I was not successful with that, so I should really sign up for the class.
Yeah, and you can get it online. According to my mother, I guess it's there, but probably like doing it. I think so. The online would be great, but I think like physically doing it.
Yeah. Well, if I can't get that other guy, will you just come and be the dummy for my committee?
I am a dummy. Yes.
And then we'll do the class.
Compressions with foot.
No, I want to see some mouth to mouth also.
Shannon will do compressions with her foot.
It may be outdated, but I'm not convinced. We're going to teach that.
She'll do compressions with her foot.
With both of them.
But no, thank you.
But yeah, we don't
to my
hear
mom for putting that information out
there. We don't hear enough about positive police stories. So it's nice.
No. And listen, this stuff happens all the time. But if you got something, put it in there. Obviously Natalie and Scott, and I don't have the name on the third one, but there's always a
could have been an undercover cop. Stopped anyway to give CPR.
Yeah, that's always something going on. Yeah. What else we got, Shannon?
So there's another video that I saw that was it was so adorable. It looked like it was staged, but there was this little dog that apparently fell into a canal. And it's so scary because we hear about these stories all the time of these dogs. They fall into the canal and they don't have a good way to get out because there are no stairs. And so they just, paddle down in there. And so these dolphins came and helped out this little guy. Do we have
it's like an amazing.
Look at that. It looks like he's surfing on that dolphin.
That's like amazing. Is that real?
Yes, that is real. So look, terrified little dog. So he was out there just paddling away, and these dolphins were like, "I got you, buddy."
Dolphins rescue
Marco.
Terrified. Yeah, and this happened to Marco.
That's what the story said. Now maybe it's all fabricated. I don't know, and I don't care. I like this story.
It sounds good. Do we have a video on that one or no? No video. Okay, but yeah.
What would you do if you just were like out watching sunset and you saw a dolphin go by with a dog on its back?
I'd be like, yeah, let me get that shit on video.
You'd be like, Shannon just laced my drink or something. Like, what did she do?
This is not real. This can't be real.
It's so adorable. Let's see that dog one more time, Diana.
The dog, yeah, the dog.
Look at the doggy. Yeah. Come on.
Dolphins rescue a terrified little dog from sinking in a
And
Florida
it says
canal.
Dolphins, so it was like
Oh.
a pod.
Yeah, it does
like
say
I don't know if
Dolphins.
they took turns or like they were all like swimming up together like a little gang. Like, here's your
You-
dog.
Do you remember? You remember it? Flipper.
Hmm.
He was like, come up if there were problems. He'd come up.
Yes.
He'd squeak. He'd be doing one of these, right?
But wasn't that when they first started getting into like animal rights in show business?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of all of the horror. Flipper and Lassie. You know, I used to work in it was like animal training
With tigers.
in show business. Well, that's how I started to work with tigers. First, I had just worked with this guy that he worked with all the dogs and stuff in like TV and movies. All of those animals that you see in a movie, somebody's getting paid for that.
Mhm.
That's, you know, somebody's
Mhm.
work dog. So I learned all the horrible stuff that they used to do to these dogs. Like if they wanted Benji to make a certain sound, like he was hurt, you know, they would have 12 of those dogs in kennels, and they would just go by and do whatever mean shit they needed to make them elicit whatever noise.
So they'd just be like this. Hey, dog, you over there, you need to stand over here and bark when I tell you to bark. Is that what they do?
No, they would go by with the microphone, twist their little balls, and
What?
make them squeal so that they would
No.
have that sound bite.
I don't believe that.
Yes.
That almost sounds.
Sounds like this guy.
So they actually like
They would
torture
torture
them
these
to
that,
get the
to get
animals to
these
do-
sound bites. And so so it when we joke about, you know, oh, no animal was hurt during the filming, that is why we
Right.
have such stringent laws now, because they were so awful to these animals.
You know, I have a hard time to believe that Flipper and Benji was it Benji.
I don't know if they
I-
twisted Flipper's
yeah,
balls.
if
I think
they-
that's different.
I
don't
don't
know
know
if
if
they
those.
did that.
I don't know. I have a hard time to believe that those animals were abused, but
Really?
it's true. Like,
Benji?
I don't know. What about Lassie? You remember
Lassie
Lassie?
was definitely
Yeah.
abused.
You think Lassie was abused? How many people think Lassie was abused? I don't know.
Definitely abused. That was way before these protective laws.
Yeah, you think.
Carmine would have been really pissed
Yeah,
had he
Carmine
been
would
on
have
that set.
Carmine would have freaking tuned up their ass, boy. Carmine didn't put up with that shit. So we got this other one.
We got this story. Now that we're done with the happy animals, people are still
Yeah.
acting crazy.
People are still crazy. People go way nuts. I mean,
Yes.
we had the incident where the lady up in Fort Myers at Wendy's went crazy. This guy goes crazy.
Because she didn't have enough fries.
Yeah, didn't have enough fries. A Florida man was charged with attempted murder after he attacked his elderly boss with a hatchet, shot him in the face on Thursday night or Tuesday night, authorities said. Freddie Valley, not Frankie
Not
Valley.
Frankie.
Yeah, 47, he's 47 years old. Pulled up to his vehicle just before 6 p.m. to a 77-year-old and basically attacked him. It's crazy. Can I see his picture one more time, Diana? Oh, geez. Yeah, he's got a nice haircut too. I like it.
Well, and he had a hatchet and a gun. Like he attacks him with a hatchet and then shoots him in the
Yeah.
face.
That's pissed off. Pissed off.
It's hard to get a rental. You should not be shooting your landlord in the face.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
I mean, really, you're in real estate.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be doing that.
right, especially right now, right? So
Yes, rates are a little
Rates
higher.
are high.
Rentals are hard to find.
chances
Stop
are he's not going to
shooting.
get his deposit back.
Well, maybe on the property, as long as he didn't shoot the landlord in the face inside, where like it splattered. If it was outside, you could just hose it down.
Not good. Not good.
Have you ever shot someone in the face?
No, I've never shot someone in the face.
You ever wanted to? Yes.
No, but I've drawn my gun several times and I've been very close. But no, I never had. Knock on wood. I never had to.
But you wouldn't shoot in their face anyway.
You shoot center of mass.
Right.
Is what we shoot for.
You stop them.
Stop them.
Whatever the biggest part of their body
Yeah,
is.
center of mass. Yes. Stop them from, because everybody goes, why'd you have to shoot him? And why couldn't you shoot his arm? And
His arm is out here doing spaghetti motions.
Everybody
Come on.
says that. Like, why doesn't the police just shoot his leg or shoot his, they have never
Right.
experienced stress.
Somebody
and-
coming at you or holding a gun and you just want to hit them to stop them.
Yeah. There's been actually shootouts in elevators where people 11, 12, 13 rounds have been fired and nobody ever got hit. In
What?
an elevator. Yeah. An elevator. It's crazy. We teach that. So yeah, it's not like you got a choice. You center of mass to stop them. And if they happen to be dispatched and die, while it happens, it's an unfortunate situation. I don't think any police officer that I know of, legal, lawful, doing their job is
Mhm.
going out to, kill anybody.
Well, I wouldn't want to kill anybody either, but if you're going to come into my
Yeah.
house or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I was listening to something on XM yesterday, and they were talking about how people have this sense of when they're about to be killed. Like
Mhm.
they just something clicks. And so, this one woman had been like, a guy broke into her apartment and had raped her and said, if you're just quiet, then I won't kill you. And he started walking into the other room, and she said something clicked in her, and she knew, he's going to kill me. I got to get out of
Yeah.
here while he's walking away. And later she remembered that like he closed the window after he raped her. So she knew, like, that was her little red flag of I got to get out of here.
Yeah. And you have to take that situation where you have to have that innate ability to say, this is going to end for me really bad, because you cannot take somebody, if he's got the guts, or he or she's got the guts to take you and put you in that position to begin with, you're probably not going to live through it. There's a big thing too, never go in a trunk. You're pretty much
or a
done
second
deal.
location.
Yeah,
Don't ever go to
yeah.
a second location.
There's a reason. I
If
mean,
you're gonna kill me at the 7-Eleven. You're
Yeah,
not gonna take me out to the field.
and that's another thing, people have a gun to their head. What do you do? I mean, it's going to have to be a situation where you got to do what you got to do, but don't ever try to never put yourself in that situation first off, but it could happen. I mean, it really can.
Well, I'm going to go down swinging.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And a lot of times people don't understand, like, because we teach the self-defense class at NABOR, which is Naples Area Board of Realtors, true realtors, and whoever really wants to come. But we teach that class, and you're not going to learn to be like a ninja at the end of the class. I mean, that's not the goal. Our goal is to make you be aware. Don't put yourself in that situation initially, if you can possibly do it. And the other thing is, if you do come across it, sometimes you just gotta have to scream, and you gotta have that will to fight and do whatever it takes to survive. And that's a big thing that people forget.
Yeah. But do you see, like, have you seen before that people just give up and just, like, really? They just don't think that there's a way out of it?
Yeah. I mean, the bad part is we don't really know what they did. But yeah, I mean, if you got a gun to your head, you got a couple choices, and the odds of you getting through those are probably fairly slim. But I think if you don't do anything, then you're that's a big thing with the school shooters. A lot of times, and I say school, I mean, generically with active shooters, a lot of people don't realize that you going underneath your desk is really, you're basically just
you're a sitting duck,
just ready to get shot. We've had some studies, and I was involved in some training where everybody in the classroom threw a tennis ball. So the guy comes in first, he kills everybody. And then he says, okay, let's try this a little bit differently. The guy came in, we all threw tennis balls at the guy, which are fairly soft. And he had like airsoft gun. The first time he shot all 21 people, they all died, or they all were very seriously injured. The second time he came through, he goes, this is what I want you to do. When I come through the door, you throw those tennis balls as hard as you can at me, and I'm going to try to do the same thing I did the first time. Well, about 4 people got shot and got hit. And the other, 18 or so made it out the door. So that's like a huge thing. It's like
fight back.
Yeah. And I always like to think about
escape.
this. Yeah. It's like cockroaches, right? You go into a room and you turn on the light. What happens? 9 times out of 10, these cockroaches go, right? You might get, out of 20 of them, you might be able to squish 2 of them if you're lucky. But for the most part, the other several of them are going to get away, and you're not going to, so if you sit underneath, if they all just sit there and don't do anything, you just go back, you squish them. That's what happens.
I never understood why that was the scenario. I mean, it's stupid for a tornado too, but you really don't have an option, right? Cover your head with your little hands, and that will protect you.
Well, and the reality is, the schools really want things to be tidy, and they want it to be easy and controlled. The reality is, if you have a school shooting scenario, the best thing that could probably happen is the chaos.
Yeah.
You get the hell out. And then, because the shooter's going through the same chaos as you are. If you're sitting there making things easy for them, now lock the classrooms, always a good thing. But believe it or not, people forget they're on the first floor. Okay, so if you got a school shooter out there and he's coming down the hall, you need to get out the window. You need to get outside.
Right.
And some people go, well, there's been situations where people have jumped out the window and they've gotten shot at by ambushed. I'm like, that's happened like twice,
Right.
where somebody's pulled a fire alarm, people came out, and that's happened. But get out of there. Your distance from that person is what's going to save your life. So these people that are teaching their kids to just sit there and wait, like you said, be a sitting duck.
Do you think
we
that's
need
going
to change some of that?
You think that's going to transfer later on too? You think that sets the foundation then for them to think that is an appropriate response to a threat?
Yeah. So what we got to do is we've got to change a little bit of mindset. We've got to change a mindset from instead of lockdown to evacuation, right? And there's different scenarios where that will come up. For instance, if you've got an armed robbery at the Circle K across from the school, it makes sense that you lock down, because chances of that robber coming over to the school and doing an active shooting, two different types of crimes. But if you've got an armed gunman headed towards a school and he just went in the back of the gym, chances are that needs to be handled a lot differently. That needs to be maybe an evacuation situation, right? Because you don't know where this person's at, where they're going to go. 9 times out of 10, we run into situations where, there's a crime across the street from the school. There's something bad happening, and that would be probably a lockdown scenario, because it's really unrelated, but it could be related if you have kids out on the playground or scrambling. So yeah, but the whole thing for educators, if you mention, and I think it's starting to slowly change, like a paradigm shift. If you mention that kids are going to be disorganized and they're not going to have supervision, they freak out.
Right.
But the reality is that's what's going to save their lives.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And
I just think the training that these kids have to do of thinking, this is a real threat. This is part of my life now. Like, they don't know any different. An active shooter, that is so crazy. And I would want my son to be taught to fight back and leave.
Yeah.
Not to sit there in any situation.
Yeah. Because, I think if you fight, right, and unfortunately, if you pass away or die, there's probably going to be about another 4 kids are going to get out while you're at least fighting with this person, right? So and I don't know how you tell a 5th grader or a 3rd grader or 2nd grader, how that happens or how that works. But I would say that if you tell a kid to act like a cockroach, and tell them that the desk is not really considered a hiding place, then they're going to figure that out. Go play hide and go seek with a kid that's in 4th grade. You're going to lose because they're going to know where to hide. Now, a classroom's a classroom, but we have a perception that the window, if we break a window, if we break anything in a school, what's a perception that we're going to get in trouble for, right? Or, God, we can't do that. No, you can break the freaking window out and get the heck outside. And sometimes there's doors.
And they still have not really come up with any type of answers in Uvalde either. Those poor family members I saw on the news this morning were very upset at that city council meeting and just wanting answers. Is it typical for it to take this long for an investigation?
To be honest with you, I'm very surprised that they're doing it as quick as they are. I was actually very surprised with that because
you think the family doesn't have a realistic expectation? No one has explained the process to them, maybe, of why it's taking so long.
Well, and I understand why they're upset. I mean, I think things have changed over the years where it used to be a year before they had findings. Now they're already doing hearings. I just saw one 2 weeks ago that they're doing hearing with the public safety director for the state of Texas. He basically said that it was botched. Yeah. And we need to own it. And, the school police chief who said that he was not in charge, was in charge and made some decisions. And, no one really knows how they're going to perform in a situation like that. But I know what my directions are. And I know what my direction would be if I was there. I'm probably not going to survive that scenario. And I'm willing to put that on the line because there's kids in there.
But, even without an active shooter scenario, I was watching something about the Miami condo building that fell.
Yeah.
And that security guard apparently could have pushed the button to have a very loud alarm in all of the bedrooms that may have saved some of these people. And she didn't do it. And I don't know if that was a lack of training or whatever. But, some of these people that that aren't even expected to be highly trained, like law enforcement, have a big responsibility
to make really big decisions,
to make
right?
big decisions.
Because I guarantee you somebody at some point, and this person, from my understanding over at Surfside, was untrained, didn't know even what the button was, or
listen, my sister's a security guard.
Yeah.
I know.
And somebody got their butt whipped for pushing it at one time, probably.
And waking people up.
Yeah, and waking people up. Because you know what it's like. You get an alarm when you're at a hotel. You're like, what the hell? I'm at a low. The whole world could be ending, and you're like, you're mad because you got woken up.
I'm tired.
So the reality of pushing that button is probably like, I'm not going to push it, or I think in this case, she, I think it was a female guard, which doesn't mean anything, but from my understanding, she wasn't trained or didn't want to do it, or felt that I don't want to be the one to push this button and get up. Because what happens is people need to understand on the other side of that, like, hey, listen, if that button is pushed by accident or for whatever reason, don't friggin' take it out on the guard. I mean, it's trying to save your life.
You want them to push it again.
You want them to put, so.
But can you imagine living with that knowledge of I could have pushed that button, all those people died.
Yeah, no, I know.
So that's terrible.
Definitely bad situation.
I'm glad I don't have a big job with big responsibilities. I just push these little brochures. Here you go. And I'm done with my day.
Yeah. But when it goes good, because I look back, and I'm sure this police chief at the school, at some point in his career, saved someone's life and things like that. But when it comes down to that decision, you really, really, you need to, when you step up to be the police chief, or you step up to be the supervisor of a shift, or you step up to take leadership, guess what?
Right.
You got it. You got to do it. And a lot of times people just want to be told what to do. And, it's an unfortunate situation, and it's always easy, after, but when you have clear direction, and we all known that's the response since Columbine, that's some time ago to go in, because sitting around waiting to see how things are going to go, because we all want a perfect scenario, right? If a car goes in a canal, we want the guys that have scuba gear to go, try to help, because they got the equipment, but you can't wait, and then I know a lot of law enforcement officers take a lot of heat for not jumping in the canal. Well, people don't understand, if I don't know how to swim or rescue swim, I'm going to die.
Right.
It's a little,
someone's going to jump in to rescue me.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we got a little different scenario when you get an active shooter, but the reality is it's a tough job, man. It's a tough job, and tough decisions are made. So, yeah.
Yep. So what should we do? Should we be nice to all law enforcement and bake them cookies?
Yes. Bake them cookies, not marijuana laced.
Well, I don't know. If they're retired, maybe they would enjoy some.
Yeah.
Depending on the state you're living in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in good shape. I'll have a couple vodkas and so old fashions. We had a great podcast. If you haven't seen the podcast, it was really, really cool. Those guys.
So what is an old fashioned?
An old fashioned is basically bourbon, and we actually crushed a little sugar to go with it.
Around the rim?
Yeah, around the rim. Didn't put it around the rim, but we took like a orange peel, and and I found out that you don't want to put it around the top. You want to put it on the bottom, because what you're trying to do is get the scent, and then when you twist the orange peel, you got to make sure the essence is going towards the drink. So I mean, it's really cool.
The essence, of course.
Yes.
Now, what about the smoked drinks? Is that going to be another episode that you're going to do?
They didn't do the smoked ones, but I've had those before. They're good.
See, now in my days of drinking,
I like lighting shit on fire.
I just drank a lot of rum. There wasn't this fancy bullshit. Yeah. We just drank, and it was a good time. And there no orange essence, no smoke, no bullshit.
And it's funny when you take a drink of it and you put it up and you can kind of smell it there. It's kind of like it gives it a really cool taste. Yeah. Well, but it's fun.
I learned from it's the same thing with wine. I learned from a sommelier the different layers of flavors. It's, the same thing, but it did take somebody to point it out to me like that, to really be able to understand, oh, that's what y'all are talking about. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting now that we have this new world of beverages, whether it's canned beverages or these mixologists in bars that really do a very complex job of creating these drinks and making them, and then the way that they garnish them. And it's just a whole new world.
Yeah, it's a whole specialty, and it's kind of neat. I like it. I like it because these guys, Corey and Carlos, who are here, and they teach a class. And what's good about it is they take so much pride, and
Mhm.
you know, it's not like you can just fling it. Oh, in the ice cube is such a big crucial part. You're thinking it's freaking ice, but the way it melts,
Why
and
is that a big deal?
whether it's square versus round,
Mm-hmm.
because what happens is that first when you put the ice cube in, right, and you got to watch it. It's on
The
our
big
it's on
ice
our,
cube.
big ice cube in this case, and I didn't really understand because you said, okay, so a square one's got more surface. Well,
Mhm.
if it's round, it's got the same surface, but whatever. So you drop it in, but the way, so that first little taste you have, it's a little bit like, ooh, I got a little whiskey, right? And then as things starts to mellow, and you know, you get down to the bottom, you're like, oh, I'm ready for another one. You know, it's really good.
I've never been a whiskey drinker.
I honest to God, I up till probably a year ago, and then Corey, I think, made the first one of the first ones that I had. and I was like,
Really?
it's
You
really
didn't
good.
drink it until like a year
No,
ago?
No, I just, it would give me like the shivers. Like I don't like the taste of it. But when you drink it and you kind of slow down, I think maybe it's a little bit older. I'm a little bit older now.
Well, and it's probably older.
I know I'm
too.
35, so I'm in my 30s.
You're in
Late-
your 30s,
late
learning new things all the time.
Late 30s, yeah. So
Surfing dogs, old fashions, everything's
we gotta
going on down
getting real
here.
old. Anything else to add? Well, I got the
4th
music
of
going.
July. Happy 4th of
Yeah,
July.
happy 4th
right?
of July to everybody out there. Yeah, it's always good. If you're lighting fireworks, please be safe. Don't be burning your shit.
10 fingers is good.
Yeah, 10
You want to
fingers.
keep those.
Yeah, you don't want to be coming back on Tuesday like this. Okay, what would be like that, right? You can come
So
in
are
like,
we going to be back Monday or Tuesday
uh,
or Friday? What are we doing?
I love you, but I don't know if I'm coming in on a 4th. Let's
Really?
shoot for next Friday. Do you want to come in on the 4th of July? I don't think I'm gonna be here.
But I'll be out in a flag bikini.
Oh wow.
Maybe I'll do a live remote.
Yeah, you can always do a live remote. I don't think. Yeah. By the way, Diana, the 4th is a holiday, so that's the holiday she showed up. We're doing it live. But no,
She's dedicated.
Yeah,
we
she's-
like her.
Diana's the best. And matter of fact, this is the last time you'll ever see this show without Diana not having a mic
Thank
and
goodness.
a camera. Her days are very numbered because she's going to be on here now. She's actually going to be hosting it.
She
So,
should be.
yeah.
She's very talented. We need to
Got
see
it.
more of that.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been great. Thank you for the comments. Make sure to watch. Go on YouTube. Don't forget to like our stuff. Go on YouTube, like
Share
it,
it.
share it, subscribe.
Tell your
subscribe
neighbors.
to it. Subscribe to it. And every now and then we'll have a little fun with a little bit of good sound effects,
What is that?
That's- Oh, wait. This is I'm just trying to mess around with this. That's what Diane, that's what Shannon, but you cussing, right, Shannon?
Oh, that's when you bleep me out.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you guys on the week of July 4th, but it'll be towards the end. Maybe
I think
sometime
the
in
8th.
between. Yeah, the 8th.
I think we'll be back on Friday the
All
8th.
right. Sounds good.
All right,
right.
and we are
We are
out.
out. Woo.